50 knots of wind at 400 feet.
Pretty violent today.
Oh, yeah.
And we gave him all the information, told him everything we could, and I mean, that's all we can do, man.
I'm Eric, a private pilot based in Los Angeles. Join me and my family on our aviation adventures throughout Southern California and beyond. I was super stoked to get another call to shoot a commercial up in the San Francisco Bay Area because it's such a great excuse to use our airplane for travel for work. Would turn a 6-hour drive into a 2-hour flight. Got all my camera gear loaded up into the car. I'm here at the hangar, but unfortunately today, I'm gonna have to scrub this flight and drive instead. All right, I'm gonna be straight up and real with you and show you how I got to this decision. Like any pilot, all week long, I was keeping an eye on the weather. Last night I launched Foreflight to do a weather briefing and I was like, holy crap, it really is going to be windy. I dug into the terminal area forecast for Whiteman Airport, which is my home airport, and noticed that the wind was supposed to be really strong and really gusty, full crosswind, 90 degrees to the only runway. Then I took a look at my destination airport options, Hayward, Oakland, and Buchanan Field, and I noticed that the forecast for all those airports was supposed to be really strong and gusty winds, but the winds were forecast to die down later in the afternoon, like 5 o'clock or so. I went into Foreflight's imagery tab and checked out the air mets for turbulence. There were warnings for high surface winds above 30 knots in several places in the state, and generally on the route of flight there was air mets for moderate to severe turbulence below 18,000 feet. I also checked out the combined turbulence forecast, and I could see that the forecast turbulence at various altitudes just looked really bad. Check out this tumbleweed! Woo! Tumbleweed! I still wanted to keep my options open, so I started looking at the weather for the return trip on Friday. I used the apps Meteo, Blue, and Windy for a look at the longer term weather for the return. I could see that coming out of the Bay Area there were forecast to be some clouds, maybe some precipitation, and that the freezing level was really going to drop. I was kind of iffy if I could get out of the Bay Area on Friday IFR, but I'm still pretty confident that there'd be breaks in the clouds based on the forecast and that I can make the return trip home VFR. I decided to go to bed and see how conditions played out in the morning and see if anything would change and make the call in the morning. After a restful night of dreaming of upgrading to a twin-engine airplane, a Pilatus, or a jet, I woke up and launched Foreflight for an updated weather briefing. I was like, holy crap, this looks really bad. First thing that caught my eye was a lot of PIREPs for turbulence. A Pilatus PC-12 reporting severe turbulence at 4,000 feet. A Cessna 210 reporting severe turbulence at 8,500 feet. Another PC-12, or maybe that same guy, reporting moderate chop at 8,000 feet. A Gulfstream reporting plus or minus 10 knots low-level wind shear. And a 737 reporting light to moderate turbulence. Oh man, there's a dust storm! Holy cow. Oh, jeez. It's windy, man. Look at that. Apocalyptic. I checked the terminal area forecast again, and I looked at my home airport, and not much had changed. In fact, it looked a little worse, with the winds completely perpendicular to the runway. I jumped back into the updated air mets, and it just looked like a complete mess. I know what the conditions are going to be like when the air met for turbulence picture looks like this, because I've flown in those conditions. In fact, I made a video about the key to flying through turbulence that you should check out, and you can see me get bounced around in the turbulence pretty bad. At that point, I had pretty much made up my mind, but I loaded up the gear in the car and drove to the airport anyway, because it's totally on the way to the route that I need to drive up to San Francisco. In the car on the way, I was listening to live ATC at Van Nuys Airport and heard this conversation between the air traffic controller and a pilot of a Cirrus SR-20. Check it out.
Attention aircraft segment Oscar 3, valid until 0001 Zulu for California coastal waters regarding wind shear and severe turbulence below flight level 180.
The controller verbally gives updated AirMet Oscar for low level wind shear and severe turbulence.
Number 2, you're probably just verify you did hear me announce the segment Oscar 3.
I got you
Sir 7622 Bravo Van Nuys Tower, wind 02017, gust 29 degrees, caution, moderate to severe turbulence reported throughout the valley. Runway 34 right, clear for takeoff.
Takeoff 34 right, clear above.
Pilot decides to take off anyway.
762 Juliet Bravo, we'll return.
I guess he got up there and realized how bad it was and decided he wanted to get back on the ground.
2 Juliet Bravo, you can make right or left traffic, your discretion, sir.
Traffic.
2 Juliet Bravo, roger, right traffic, runway 34 left along runway. Cirrus 2 Juliet Bravo, wind 040 at 19er, gust 28, runway 34 left, clear to land.
34 left, clear to land, 2 Juliet Bravo. Tower 762 Juliet Bravo, would it be alright if we just overfly the field at 1,800 and continue on our way to Sedona?
There must have been some kind of conversation with his passengers or crew about wanting to get to the destination because they changed their mind and now they're going to Sedona again.
2 Juliet Bravo, it's pilot's discretion, sir. If you want to overfly runway 34 left, 34 at 1,800, it is approved, sir.
See that, we'll overfly at 1,800 to Juliet Bravo.
Sir, 2 Juliet Bravo, contact SoCal departure on 134.2, 34.2.
342, thanks, 2 Juliet Bravo.
Wait, 2 Juliet Bravo, Van Nuys. There'll be a few minutes. There was a Cirrus that is,
Would have landed?
he was going to come back and land, but he decided he got the itis to get there. Wait for him to get out of the way.
We're showing 50 knots of wind at 400 feet.
Pretty violent today.
Oh yeah.
Number 8 Bravo Hotel, they just called over that Cirrus already, mate. You're returning after all. Listen, we gave him all the information, told him everything we could, and I mean, that's all we can do, man.
Nice, Tower 762 Juliet Bravo. We're going to head back. We're over the reservoir at 4,000 feet, inbound with Romeo, full stop.
I guess there was some more discussion and they didn't like how it felt. He decided to come back again and land.
Number 762 Juliet Bravo, Van Nuys, Roger, make left traffic, runway 34 left.
Traffic 34 left, 2 Juliet Bravo. Be advised there is moderate turbulence out here.
Yes, sir, we were watching you.
Yeah, the controller's like, yeah, man, I know. We were watching you and we tried to tell you.
2 Juliet Bravo, exited the ramp with me this frequency. And thank you for making what we all believe was the right decision.
What do you think? After hearing that and seeing the weather forecast, would you have made the trip to Oakland? Let me know in the YouTube comments. Listening to that ATC communication on the way to the airport completely sealed the deal for me. I mean, I was 99% no-go scrubbing the flight anyway, but that was just the absolute icing on the cake. I guess you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run.
I know when to run.
That's an aviation metaphor for you right there. Another one. I guess it's really more like a gambling metaphor, not an aviation metaphor, but you get the idea. Man, I really want to do this flight today. Loading up the equipment and flying for work is like one of the greatest things for me. It's just so fun. And the director of this job and I were planning on flying over to Lake Tahoe and maybe doing some skiing out my skis in the back after the shoot. It's hard to scrub. It's hard to scrub the flight and disappoint people and cancel plans and admit, hey, maybe this isn't the best idea. As pilots, we often have to make tough decisions to abandon even our best laid plans. Sometimes that means going around a few times on a really windy approach, like we did a few months ago in Sedona. And other times like this, it means finding another way to get there entirely. I try to consider both safety and enjoyment when making the call. We ended up having a great shoot in the Bay Area, but my eyes were definitely looking wistfully at the sky on the long drive home. Come join our Zoom hangouts and Q&As through Patreon membership, and gain access to exclusive video series, including videos about the best GoPro settings and mounts for recording your flights. It's a great way to support the creation of more content like this. Patreon.com/SoCalFlyingMonkey. I appreciate you sticking around on this non-flying flying video. Thanks for coming along on the journey with me.